What just happened between Taehyung and HYBE? Why did he urgently demand action after Jungkook's house was broken into? Is there something darker hiding behind the silence of the company? Stay until the end, leave your thoughts in the comments, like this video if your heart is pounding, and don't forget to subscribe, because what you're about to hear might change how you see BTS forever. It started with a single message that spread like wildfire across social media. A message that made armies freeze in disbelief. Taehyung demands HYBE to take action immediately. Those words, coming just minutes after reports of Jungkook's house being broken into, have left the fandom shaken, confused, and deeply emotional. 10 minutes ago, the world thought it was just another quiet night for BTS. But something terrifying happened that no one could have predicted. A break-in. Panic. A silence that screamed louder than any statement. Fans began piecing together what might have occurred behind closed doors. Did Jungkook really face an intruder inside his own home? Was he safe? And why did Taehyung, known for his calm and composed demeanor, suddenly speak with such urgency, almost as if he'd seen something unbearable? The questions flooded social media faster than anyone could answer. What pushed him to break his silence and publicly call out HYBE? The night air in Seoul was thick with tension. At around the same time, a series of police sirens echoed in the distance, and neighbors near Jungkook's residence reported unusual commotion. One neighbor even claimed to have seen flashing red lights outside the house, describing it as chaotic but frighteningly quiet. Inside, Jungkook was reportedly shaken but conscious, though sources close to the scene mentioned he had fainted for a brief moment, overwhelmed by shock when realizing someone had broken into his sanctuary. When Taehyung heard the news, those close to him said he froze. His first reaction wasn't anger but fear, pure fear. For someone like Taehyung, whose bond with Jungkook goes beyond music, hearing that his closest friend was in danger must have felt like a nightmare come alive. Within moments, he made a call and another, until his voice trembled in desperation. Why hasn't HYBE done anything? Why is no one protecting him? Those were reportedly his words, whispered between frustration and heartbreak. HYBE, known for its professional control over crisis situations, remained silent. No official statement, no reassurance, nothing but silence that fans described as deafening. That silence for Taehyung was the breaking point. He didn't wait for press releases or PR filters. He went straight to social media and urged the company to act immediately. His message wasn't long, but it hit hard. This is not something we can ignore. Jungkook's safety should be protected above everything. The moment those words appeared online, the internet erupted. What made it worse was the uncertainty. No one knew who the intruder was. Some fans speculated it could be an obsessed stalker, someone who had followed Jungkook's routine too closely. Others believed it might have been a targeted act, possibly connected to previous incidents that the company had downplayed. But no one expected it to reach this level, where Taehyung himself would step forward and confront HYBE's silence head-on. In the hours that followed, hashtags like #ProtectJungkook and #HYBEActNow began trending worldwide. Armies from all corners of the globe expressed outrage and fear, demanding that the agency provide stronger security for all BTS members. They didn't just want words, they wanted assurance. They wanted safety. They wanted action. But for Taehyung, this wasn't about trending tags. It was about a friend, someone he'd trained with, performed with, and shared countless memories with. Imagine the weight of seeing someone you love suffer from something so invasive. The thought of Jungkook, lying on the floor of his own home, surrounded by flashing police lights, left Taehyung visibly shaken. Those who saw him that night said his eyes were red, his voice unsteady. He didn't care about the cameras or what headlines might come from his statement. All he cared about was Jungkook. And that raw emotion was what made his words cut deeper than any PR announcement ever could. HYBE must protect him, he said again later, this time to reporters who tried to ask if Jungkook was okay. But his tone said more than his words. It was the tone of a brother, not a celebrity. The tone of someone who'd had enough of waiting for others to do the right thing. By morning, fans started noticing that HYBE's official pages were unusually quiet. No statements, no updates. That only fueled more suspicion. Why the delay? Were they trying to verify details? Or were they suppressing something? Rumors spread quickly, each more chilling than the last. Some said there were signs of forced entry. Others whispered that Jungkook might have been followed days before the break-in. Every new piece of information made the situation more haunting. And amid it all, Taehyung's voice kept echoing. "Take action now." Those 3 words became a rallying cry, not just for armies but for anyone who has ever feared for someone they love. There was something painfully human about the way he said it. Not as a superstar, but as Kim Taehyung, the man behind the spotlight. That as the sun rose over Seoul, the aftermath of the incident became impossible to ignore. Police cars were still stationed outside Jungkook's home, and a few officers were seen examining security footage. Fans gathered nearby, some crying, some praying quietly, holding banners that read, "Stay strong, Jungkook." The air felt heavy, like the city itself was mourning something unseen. Reporters tried to reach HYBE for an official response, but the company remained silent. No confirmation, no denial, just silence. And that silence, in a world where words can save reputations, felt like a storm about to explode. Meanwhile, inside the BTS circle, members reportedly checked in with Jungkook privately, ensuring he was stable. But sources close to the group said Taehyung wasn't satisfied. He wanted accountability. He wanted answers. "How could something like this happen to one of the most protected artists in the world?" he reportedly said, pacing restlessly, frustration visible on his face. For fans, the emotional toll was immense. Many said they couldn't sleep, haunted by the image of Jungkook in distress. Some posted heartfelt messages, writing that BTS had given them strength during dark times, and now it was their turn to give that strength back. The outpouring of love was overwhelming, yet beneath it all was a deep current of fear that this could happen again if nothing changes. What truly breaks hearts, however, is the thought of how vulnerable even global icons can be. Despite fame, wealth, and security, Jungkook's experience showed a brutal truth. No one is untouchable. And Taehyung's plea reminded everyone that at the core, BTS aren't just idols. They're humans, brothers, and friends who care deeply for one another. Hours turned into a day, and still no word from HYBE. Every passing minute felt like an eternity. Fans demanded transparency, demanding to know whether Jungkook was okay, whether the intruder had been caught, whether this nightmare was finally over. But until now, only fragments of the story have surfaced, each one painting a picture of fear, loyalty, and the unspoken strength that keeps them going. And now the world waits. Will HYBE finally speak? Will they admit that security failed? Will they reassure millions of worried fans? Or will they let silence tell the story instead? What Taehyung did tonight may go down in BTS history, not as a scandal but as an act of courage. When the system stayed quiet, he chose to speak. When fear tried to control the narrative, he chose to protect. And maybe that's what makes this moment so powerful. It's not about fame or image. It's about love, loyalty, and the simple truth that even the strongest need to be protected sometimes. So now, as you finish reading this, ask yourself, what would you have done if your closest friend was in danger? Would you have stayed silent? Or would you have done exactly what Taehyung did? Comment your thoughts below. Show your support for Jungkook by liking this post, and subscribe for more updates, because this story is far from over. Something bigger may be coming, and when it does, you'll want to be here to witness it. The tension in Seoul hadn't faded. In fact, it had only grown stronger as each hour passed without any official response from HYBE. Fans were restless, journalists were circling, and inside the quiet walls of Jungkook's home, recovery had just begun. The faint hum of medical devices and soft murmurs of concern filled the air, a sound both fragile and haunting. Jungkook, though conscious, was pale and exhausted. The trauma of realizing his